Howard Campbell. Ah, family gatherings. Sunshine, laughter, drinks, and one long, ridiculously overcomplicated death setup. Howard's hanging with his loved ones at a backyard get-together, and everything looks perfectly harmless. Bobby's stacking glass cups. He sets one near the edge and it slips, crashing onto the counter. One tiny shard takes a leap of faith into the cooler and somehow ends up in Marty's drink. No one notices. They're too busy toasting to family and ignoring every single red flag around them. Erik casually places his beer bottle on top of an outdoor fireplace, and Marty's about to sip on his shard smoothie. Right before he does, Bobby invites Howard to jump on the trampoline. Marty sets his glass down to cheer.
Wait, stop!
Darlene spots a rake under the trampoline and moves it off to the side, directly next to a pile of other dangerous gardening tools. Then Brenda walks by and plops a bowl down on the outdoor fireplace, knocking Erik's bottle off. It hits the garden hose spout just right, turns it on, and the hose inflates like a balloon animal. The added pressure causes the nearby tools to start shifting like they're lining up for their part in the execution. Just as Stephanie shows up, Howard hops off the trampoline to greet her. Bobby goes full acrobatic mode and breaks through the trampoline. The tower collapses, hits Marty's chair, and spills his drink, the one with the glass shard. He yelps, stumbles backward. The rake, Darlene helpfully moved earlier, tips over and smacks the power button on a nearby lawnmower. Howard tries to brush it off, still trying to save face, but face is exactly what he loses. He falls and the lawnmower rolls straight over his head. His family turns just in time to witness Howard's face get turned into yard mulch. Carter Daniels. Carter's the kind of guy who mixes beer, racism, and bad decisions.
Nobody lives forever.
And still somehow thinks he's in control. One drunk night, full of rage and low IQ, he decides the best way to deal with his problems is to roll up to George's house in his tow truck and burn a cross on the front lawn. He blamed George for keeping him from his wife after the car race crash, the moment that led to her death. While he's fiddling with his little bonfire of bigotry, the horseshoe keychain on his rearview mirror suddenly falls and hits the radio. 2 cans of Heist Pale Ale tip over and land perfectly on the gear shift. The truck starts moving down the hill. Carter turns to stop it, but surprise, the doors are locked. Death always locks the doors. In the back of the truck, a gas canister tips and spills fuel all over the road. As Carter screams at his own truck, and suddenly he's being dragged down the street. The chain scraping the pavement sends up a little flare, catches the trail of gas, and turns the street into a literal fire lane. And just when you think it can't get any more brutal, the fire reaches the gas tank. The truck explodes in one glorious fiery finale, launching Carter in pieces. His severed head lands on George's lawn, the worst housewarming gift ever. Erik Campbell. So Erik and Bobby are in a hospital, casually snacking and plotting the most unhinged plan ever. Cheat death by stopping Bobby's heart with peanuts and reviving him.
Well, see, I got an idea, but it's a little nuts.
Because if dying temporarily worked for someone else, surely it'll work again. And definitely won't go wrong in a room full of high-powered medical machinery and zero supervision. Erik leaves to grab a wheelchair, and while he's gone, Bobby notices the lights flicker on, gives it a huh, and just kind of goes with it. Erik comes back with the wheelchair and explains the plan. Eat the peanut snack, sit in the chair, stop breathing, get resuscitated, and boom, cheat death. Easy, right? Bobby agrees, but only if Erik promises to take care of Paco. Erik's like,
Yeah, of course.
Bobby eats the snack, and nothing happens. Erik's starting to panic, but then Bobby starts choking. He fumbles for his EpiPen, collapses by the door, and Erik's yelling at him to get back in the chair like that's going to fix anything. Meanwhile, Death's plan is fully kicking in. Erik's phone suddenly launches toward the MRI's override button. One by one, Erik's body jewelry starts violently ripping out. First his ears, then his nose, then his nipples, and then... As Erik screams in agony and regret, the wheelchair slams Erik right in the torso, bending him backward as if he were mid-performance in a horror-themed Cirque du Soleil. The magnetic force keeps pulling. He dies, folded in half, crushed and skewered, with the kind of
What just happened?
energy that defines the entire franchise. Julie, Kevin, and Wendy. 5 months after the roller coaster disaster that kicked it all off, Wendy is still trying to outrun death. And in classic Final Destination fashion, she ends up right where she shouldn't, on a subway train, just trying to mind her business. But death? Oh, it's already punched her ticket. By some cosmic joke, she runs into her sister Julie, who decided public transit was faster than waiting for her dad's car, and Kevin, who's on his way to a football game. Everyone's all, oh hey, what a coincidence. Except nothing is ever just coincidence when death's in the room. As the train barrels forward, things start to feel off. Subtle signs, like déjà vu with a side of dread. Then everything goes sideways, literally. The subway jumps the rails, slamming passengers around like ragdolls. In the chaos, Julie gets the worst game of dodgeball imaginable when a runaway train wheel breaks loose and crushes her mid-scream. Kevin is slammed against a cracked window. He's pinned there, helpless as the glass fractures more and more until it finally gives way. Wendy, the last one standing, clings to a pole long enough to watch both her sister and her maybe boyfriend get annihilated. The train tears itself open mid-derailment and ejects her straight onto the tracks, shattered leg and all. She looks up only to see another subway train hurtling toward her. She screams, but it's too late. And then, she's not dead, yet. It was a vision. Kevin sees the look and knows that face by now. He rushes to pull the emergency brake. Wendy and Julie try yanking open the train doors, but it's no use. The screen cuts to black, and all we hear is the screech of steel on steel. Erik Campbell. Iris has spent years off the grid, buried in conspiracy theories, omens, and a book that looks like it was bound in paranoia. But now, with death clearly back on its nonsense, she's doing her best to warn her family, particularly Stephanie, who is very much not in the mood. Stephanie's convinced it's all just anxiety and bad dreams.
You know, I'll come back and I'll visit. No!
As Stephanie storms off, Iris grabs the book and rushes after her. And this is a big deal. Iris hasn't stepped outside in years, but the door creaks open, and a gust of wind hits like death just clocked in for the shift. The tin cans hanging on the porch rattle their final warning. She stops, takes it in, and somehow knows this is it. Still, she presses forward. Iris catches up to Stephanie and shoves the book into her hands like she's passing off a cursed football. Stephanie protests, still not buying into any of it. So Iris, clearly done being ignored, tells her to step back, turns to face the wind, and basically dares Death to prove her point. Her last words?
Seeing is believing.
And Death's like,
Say less.
A sudden gust knocks a rusty weather vane loose. It slams onto a fire extinguisher which erupts like a cannon, launching the vane straight into Iris's mouth and killing her instantly. Stephanie, now covered head to toe in her aunt's blood and holding the very book she didn't want, finally starts to understand. Too late, of course. Brian Gibbons. It's a peaceful fall day in 2001. The sun's out, the grill's going, and a handful of survivors who should be dead are enjoying burgers like Death hasn't been creepily following them for months. Brian, young and cheerful, is hanging out at a family barbecue with Kimberly, Thomas, and her dad, aka the squad who supposedly beat the system. Everyone's smiling, relaxed, finally letting their guard down, and right there is where Death likes to strike. As the group chats, Brian brings up the time he almost got flattened by a news van. His dad laughs it off like,
Yeah, that was crazy.
then casually strolls back to check on the grill. The grill explodes like it was stolen from the set of Mad Max Fury Road, and just to really seal the memory in, his right arm lands neatly on his mother's plate.